Hey, it's The Book and His Boss. I'm Pat Caputo along with sports editor Jeff Kuehn. I'm the columnist at the Oakland Press. And Jeff, they had the big parade today. The Red Wings came through. They won the Stanley Cup. Everybody doesn't have to sit on the edge of their seat. And I think the Red Wings now have proven if they're not a dynasty, they're sure darn close to it.
They're close. And Ozzy came through like we all knew he would. We never had a moment of doubt, did we? 1 second left, the puck's going through the goal crease.
That was scary. That was scary there at the end. And but the Red Wings, you have to give them credit for it. Really, if you look back on the whole thing, pretty dominant. The game's gone, went to Game 7. They thrashed the Avalanche. They won all 4 of their series on the road. And they dominated during the regular season. So it was about as thorough of a job as you can get. And you know what? The fact that they lost Game 5, and there was 3 seconds or 34 seconds, 35 seconds left when they did it, actually in an odd sort of way made it sweeter. Right. I know it would have been nicer on home ice, but overcoming adversity always makes you appreciate the prize more. And you know what's good? And that's the parade today. It's Hockey Town again. And I think people were doubting that, but is there any doubt that this is Hockey Town again?
Absolutely. You summed it all up. I couldn't say it any better all the way through, but I think you can't underestimate or devalue enough that decision that Babcock made. As he said, chances are when you replace a goalie, you're going fishing. And just worked out that Osgood was ready, reinvented himself. We all saw it, had a great run, and the Wings responded. And I'm telling you what, Pat, Babcock said something that I think made a lot of sense to me. Cromwell's injury last year cost them against Anaheim big time. The hits that he had throughout the series, I think he was a bigger factor than we know, and they could have won last year if he was healthy. But looks good for the future too, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got all these young players that are built up. They got a few decisions to make. They have some older players. What I thought was funny is, some of the commentary saying, well, Pittsburgh is younger team overall. Red Wings are in great physical condition. And, on the radio, I'm fortunate enough to do the Inside Hockey Town show with Ken Callis of the team. So he's with the team every day. And what Ken always tells me is these guys are incredibly hard workers. And being down there, you always see them in that exercise room after the game working out. They are incredibly fit. And I've talked to some of the other players that were new to the organization, particularly Aaron Downey was talking about that. I knew that fitness after that long overtime game wasn't going to be an issue with them. Right. They're tremendous. Now, Red Wings, they're set. Everybody knows it. They got the coach, Mike Babcock. He's going to sign his extension in a while, and their future looks bright. I would expect them to win it again next year, or at least be the favorite to do it. Pistons, a lot of decision times. Was out there at the Palace the other day, listened to Joe Dumars, asked him a few questions out at that press conference. Michael Curry as coach, I mean, that seems to be the head of the list. That's the first move. Dicey situation for Joe Dumars because they don't want to take a step back. They can get back to the Eastern Conference Finals maybe if they keep the same thing, but it seems to me like, man, he's got some tough decisions.
I'll tell you what, though, Joe's the man, huh? He's
smart.
3 straight trips to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's not good enough. And Joe knows, world champion that he is, but I don't know. He may know something that the rest of the world doesn't in Michael Curry as a coach. It's rolling the dice a little bit, but like I say, he knows more.
Well, we don't know for sure that's what it's going to be, but boy, it's sure. I've heard that from some of the sources I've had, and I think I'm not alone. I'm not a club of one on feeling that that's what the way it's going to go. So. But
let me ask you this, Rasheed Wallace. The feedback that I get, a lot of people are fed up with that act. What do you think?
Well, I think he's done. I wrote that this week when I went out there, and I think he's done. They have to do it, but the problem is he's done here, but he's a pretty talented player. Antonio McDyess is a very good player, and he may be retiring, and big guys don't grow on trees.
Right.
They're like the real American Idol, Jim Martinez.
There we go.
They don't grow on trees.
Right.
So what are they going to do? I mean, it's easier said than done, but addition by subtraction, I hear names like Eldon Brand and things like that. He's coming off an Achilles. Is he available? What would you have to trade? Charlotte and Okafor, some of the things that are mentioned. I don't know if that's as good as Rasheed Wallace to win a championship now, but he's got to go. I mean, that act in Game 6. And I'll tell you this, and I asked you, Joe Dumars, this specifically. He made it pretty clear that he's not going to – he said everything but that he was going to not have him back.
Right. We'll see. A lot of decisions to be made there. A long way to go. I mean, Boston, I think, is showing that they are a very good team in the NBA Finals, and it's a long hill to climb.
Yeah, it is. The bad part is now it's the Tigers. All the attention's on
All
the Tigers.
the attention.
I read Jim Hawkins' column today. Couldn't wait for you to start reading Jim again, and today about it, and he's right. But they got now this team, and I don't know. Do you think there are possible rumblings that Leland's job would be on the line? I think he's a great manager, but man, he seems like he doesn't have a clue here.
You know, it's the same thing that you just said, though. If not him, who? I mean, you gotta, if you're gonna replace somebody, you gotta have somebody coming in who's better or equal to. And you know, I don't know, but he has lost control, I think, a little bit on this team because they're just not getting it. And you know, you can't replace the players, so it kind of falls on the manager, right?
Well, it could, but it's an awfully good manager. Like I said, I'm not always into that addition by subtraction thing. I don't see where that would help, and I've always admired Jim Leland as a manager. But anyway, until next week, it's the book and his boss. Jeff is off next week. The Real American Idol is coming on the other side of the camera. Jim Martinez will join me, and it'll be Jim Martinez and I next week on the book and his boss. By the way, Keith Dunlap, I didn't like that crack about my weight. I'm calling you out, Keith Dunlap. I'm calling you out right now. Yeah, he said that. Oh, I didn't mean it. Yeah, you meant it. We'll see what's going to go on. Maybe we should play a little ice hockey, and I'll give you a little check on the board, hockey writer. Well, okay, we'll see what you can do. But anyway, until next week, Pat Caputo, sports columnist for the Oakland Press. Jeff Kuehn, the sports editor. We'll talk to you.